Now let's try to do something right now. So I'm importing this thing. Let me go to edit mode. I can also still import something else, like let's say cube and all that. Then I can move the cube GY. Like, let's move it 1000, or let's move it 3000. You see. So now with these two objects I have here, if I go into object mode, they are just a single object. Unlike, but if I now create another object here, now let's say shift A, let's say I create a plane and I move it away from the existing plane. Let's move it GY 3000 minus 3000 minus here. So you can use plus or minus to navigate wherever direction you want to. This is now a different object from this one. When you go here, this is where the name of whatever you are working with comes out. This is actually this. Why this first plane is this and this. So you can get that, and when you go back into your edit mode, you can decide to delete whichever one you don't like. You can decide to delete this for pressing K. Then K kind of highlights everything in a particular object. So, but you can always edit by your select button. And when you go here, you have this vertex here, and that's what we are seeing on this one. This is vertex select. This is edge select. This is space select. So now we are on vertex select. So you can decide to just click on. You press shift down to be able to, deselect all these. Because if you don't press shift down, whatever you press, it's just going to, go straight for that. So control. So now what we want to delete now is the default, is this cube that we drew. Let's quickly do that. So we can delete vertices, we can delete edges, we can delete faces and all that. What vertices does that? Deletes the whole cube, the whole vertices of the cube. Where edges also deletes the whole vertices of the cube, at least as we have highlighted them. Faces to delete faces. So, but the difference between all this is that when you delete vertex, it deletes all connected vertices. When you delete edges, it deletes all connected edges. When you delete faces, it deletes all connected faces, or a single face, if that's what you want to. Let's try to just explore that. So to delete face, now you go to face mode. When you go here and you press X and you say delete face, see, it's just this face that is deleted. Of which, if you go here now, you see, okay, delete edge. You delete everything that is connected to that edge. Can you see everything that is connected to that edge? So confused. Now if you say you want to delete vertex, now if you press this vertex, it's going to delete everything connected to that vertex. So that's just that about that. So initially I said I wanted to delete the cube. So let's delete the cube. So to finally wrap up our lesson today, let me go to object mode and delete this too. Now I want to just let's go through how to draw a simple house from this plane, and since we already have all our objects in place, just a very simple miniature house. That's just what we'll be doing to wrap up this whole lecture. Now next lecture we'll be getting into our real project, what we want to actually do. And while we're also doing that, we'll be getting into more of what we want to learn about, because we'll be designing. I'll be taking you through the design of a duplex, a luxury duplex, and it's going to be a very extensive lecture that's going to really help you. So developing your 3D modeling with Blender and also with other softwares, other 3D softwares, because most of them are related. So now before we let's try to work on this. So now let me go back to my vertex, my edge select. I love to use edge select in this scenario because what I want to do is I want to expand this. I want to expand all the sides. There are different methods to do it, but let's go. So what I want to do is I want to move this GY. Let's move it around 3000 minus. Let's move this one to GY 3000. So what I want to do is we want to create this natural GY GX 3000. So GX 3000. When I'm working, I like to know my dimensions. So in order to be able to know your dimensions, you can just go here, and click. Sorry, you go here and click edge length. It gives you the edge length. If it's face area, it gives you the face area. It brings it out. Then edge angle too, it brings it out. face handle brings out. But what I need here is edge length. I want my length whenever I'm highlighting any edge or whatever. I want my edge length to be this. That we know. So now we already know that this is 8,000 by 8,000 by 8,000 by 8,000. We can work with it. So now, to be able to make this into a a something that looks like a house, you just need to bring it, click all the edges. You can just press A, like you're clicking the face. But what we need really is just these edges. You don't really need this face. So I can go to vertex select mode, and then just click my vertices, even though it's still going to end up clicking face, because actually a face. So I can now extrude. What extrude does is that it picks a particular part of your model or of your tool or drawing or whatever. Then it extends it towards whatever you want it to extend to. So let's give this 3 meters, 3,000. So now I don't want my drawing to have a face. So I can just press this and delete this face. And from the example we showed initially. So now see what we have here. So now I can create a miniature roof. And to create a miniature roof, you need to have this. I can do this two ways. I can take this one, press F by creating a face there again, which is not really what I would like to do. And just say, then I can duplicate it, which is the method I actually prefer. 3,000 meters. Let's say our roof is 3,000 meters high, then what I need to do is actually, I don't really need, what I want to do is I want the roof to have a pitch. So, but I'm using a method that, you can also choose other methods that are more convenient for you. So I can do this by, what I'm doing here, you see there. So I can just match the whole thing at center. So when I match it at center, what it do is turns the four vertices into one vertex. So I can now connect this, by pressing F. Use F to connect vertices, edges, and all that. So F, F. This is just a very, very simple drawing. So now to be able to make this a solid roof, you can go to your edge select mode, and click all these sides, press F, click this, press shift, you hold on shift F, so that you will not be selecting just one thing. F, F. Now you have this weird looking, simple looking house. So now to create something like a door around here, you can just press this one. Going through all these tools, you can just go to them, and then you can either use subdivide, which most of the time I don't really always like to use. What subdivide does is that it creates these cuts around the surface of your mesh. But I don't really like this one, so I'll go Control Z again. So instead of, I'll use loop, I'll go to my edge loops, my edge select, then I'll go to loop, cut, and slide. So this gives me the opportunity to be able to cut in whatever direction I want. So I can cut in this direction, or cut in this direction. So what I want to do is I want to cut in this direction. And how many cuts do I want? You can bring this out. I think I can have, like, let's say 3 or 4 cuts. I want to remove the door hole and also the window hole. So let me just have 6 cuts, even though I didn't really plan that. So it's cutting actually along the entire mesh. Cutting around, that's what the slide cut does. If you say these meshes are not connected, it's not going to cut the whole thing. It only cuts whatever is connected. It doesn't cut what is not connected. If you cut anything connected along this, so what we want to do is that I want to get a door hole here. So let me look at this. I want my door hole to be, let's say 1,200 or something. So I can just take this. This is 1143. So I can go and look for my calculator. So now in my calculator I can just say 1,200 minus supposed to be minus 1143. So that's what 57, which means I need to shift this 57 to, I can even divide 57 by 2 to make sure that it centers. But I don't think it's really necessary. So I can shift this or this, 57 to make, so that's G. Remind the axis is Y, towards Y axis, 57. So you have minus, because I'm shifting it away from, I want my dot to be at the center, so I'm shifting it away from the corresponding axis where I want my dot to be. So now, another thing is we still need to look cut and slide again. But before we do that, I want us to do something very, very interesting. I want us to separate all, to make this cube, this seemingly one cube, into just faces. It makes modeling easier, especially when it comes to architectural design, so that once whatever part of your mesh you're working on is isolated, especially for a building, you want parts of your mesh to be isolated so that you can easily and conveniently work on every part individually. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this. So that's X. So I'm going to delete faces. Yeah. So I'm going to take this too. I'm going to delete it. But before I delete this one, I can go here to my vertices to create, to create a duplicate of it that will be independent of what is existing. So Shift D, Y, Z. Let's go Z1000. So let's create a face there. So now we have this face here now. So this is what we want to achieve. So now we just want to create, we want all the faces to be isolated, to be independent of one another. So when we're using a tool like loop cut slide, it won't be cutting through all our meshes, but cutting through the surface that we need to work on, or the surface that we are currently working on. So yeah, let's go. Let's do that for these two. This is the one here. So I don't want to do for this. I want every other part of my mesh to be, independent. So we are only going to be leaving that font undeleted, and we'll be deleting, the font is the only thing we are leaving undeleted. So remember that we initially moved that other part down 1000, so you can move it up back 1000. So now we can now use the vertices, the existing vertices of these other ones to create. The reason why I actually move it back, Shift D is duplicate. Why? We can move it 100. I moved it 1000. So I moved it 100. The reason why I move it back is because I don't want it to, confuse me in case maybe I deselect and all that. It's just me, my own way of doing things. So I create a face, then I now move it back to where it belongs, 1000. So now they are all independent. So I also need to, because this loop cut and slide affected this our what do you call it? So I want it, I don't want it to affect, I don't need this, all this, I don't need it here. What I need to do is I just go and dissolve vertices. That's also another, dissolve vertices. So I don't want those there, and I actually also don't want those here too. Don't want them here too. No, I think they are both connected. Yeah, they are. So what I need to do here is at the end of the day, I still have to delete this. But before I delete, I can duplicate it to the X, because I want to get rid of the vertices on the roof. So let's go 1000. So 1000 is actually a little bit small, but yeah, good. So X. So I'm deleting faces. So we don't even have the vertex there. Okay, let's go. We have the vertex. I'm very sure we do. So I want to dissolve all these vertices. I don't want my root to have all these vertices. And it's always good to double check on all these things, because they create unnecessary doubles that will that could affect your project while working going forward. And you'll be having problems selecting whatever you want to select, because there are vertices that are